grinding for so long. We were talking about this morning over coffee and breakfast that last time she was in Gstaad, she was in the country quota, lost with Kelly Reeves, and that preceded a loss in country quota in Rwanda, of all places. And she's been grinding and grinding and grinding, and no loss of spirit.
Get things underway here in the gold medal match, USA versus USA. And it's a dig in transition from Kristen Nuss, and how about that speedy line shot from Nuss?
The more I watch Kristen Nuss and the more I watch Christian Storm, especially when I watch them almost back-to-back, the more their games remind me of each other, where she just hangs and snaps that and hangs and waits for the vision and hits the perfect shot.
Kloth serve on Cannon. Out of the middle comes Therese Cannon, trying to go low line and finds the block of Taryn Kloth, so a quick 2-0 start.
And this is the 17th meeting between Therese and Kristen and Taryn. They have seen each other a lot of times, and so Therese, it's sort of this reverse psychology where Therese knows how they're going to play her, and she has to figure out, well, do they know? What an excellent little poke shot on two from Megan Kraft.
Megan Kraft getting crafty out here early in this match. And that's going to be one of the keys for this team of Cannon and Kraft. Can Therese Cannon control her serve receive and keep that ball up and down, giving her some opportunity to side out. Here's Megan Kraft, who's an excellent server. She goes short on Kloth. And the soft shot back to the line for Taryn Kloth.
With the makeup of this team, I like them serving Taryn Kloth because Therese at 6'3", one of the few blockers who can match up with Taryn, and so she can get in that airspace, whereas Meg, not the best shot defender, and that's what Kristen's going to be carving up, so I like them going at Taryn.
This jump serve heading to Megan Kraft. She wants it out wide. Excellent vision. And just a little wrist snap into the cross court.
Beautifully done for Meg. Just so calm, so poised. I mean, she was playing with Emily Stockman. I asked her how it was going, and Emily just said she makes it so easy. And Meg was 20 at the time.
Unbelievable. And the trickle serve, nicely collected here from Nuss. And is she going to go to the high line? That one gets pushed out wide. It's a good pull there from Therese Cannon.
And Kristen had kind of a choppy approach on that one. I think she thought she passed it lower than she did, and so she started approaching in early, ends up getting under, miss hit down the line. Rare error for Kristen Nuss.
Back to Nuss they go. Kristen Nuss takes a look and slaps one off the inside hand of Cannon for the point.
That's one of those tough breaks where both the blocker and the defender are on the right shot. Meg read that going line, ends up going line, and Therese reads the same thing. Good timing, just tips it away. Now, had Meg not had the right read, she would have been on it.
So my takeaway is, Meg, stop reading the ball so well. Make less reads. Here we go, switch sides. Nuss to serve up 4-3. Good middle serve, this ball off the net. Pretty good set for Megan Kraft, but it's a perfect dig from Nuss. On the run goes Megan Kraft and digs it out of bounds. And Nuss and Kloth just taking advantage in transition.
A second line snap in transition we've seen from Kristen Nuss, putting a little bit of pace on it, just out of reach of Megan Kraft. But you mentioned the passing of Therese Cannon, that one a little bit off the net, not able to get that sharp angle she loves so much. Perfect positioning from Nuss.
This ball to Megan Kraft. And the cross-court heater at the face of Kristen Nuss goes down.
I could just have a camera on Kristen Nuss's reactions the whole match. Watch her reaction after this glances off her hands. We won't get Kristen's, we'll get Taryn's, which is also comical in and of itself.
Kloth a little bit inside. The baby cut. Kraft is there. Nobody up for Megan Kraft, and she goes down the middle. Taryn Kloth just a second late to getting stopped defensively.
How smart is this shot from Megan Kraft? Gets a little bit under it, knows she won't have the full power of it, and just hits a nice, smooth 70% slap into the seam. Beautifully done.
5-all. Another tough serve. Kloth going high line with speed off the right hand of Therese Cannon.
Meg, stop reading so well. Same exact thing. Meg sees the right read, goes to it, and the block just tips it away from her. That's just two unfortunate breaks for Therese and Meg, as both of them on the right reads both times.
Little float serve there from Kloth. That one into the net.
And Therese, her history with Kristen and Taryn, relative to every other team in the world, actually a relatively successful one. She has 6 wins on her resume against Kristen and Taryn, which, for anybody, that's a pretty big number.
Probably no teams have that record against Kristen and Taryn. Good dig from Kraft. Chance from the right, and Megan Kraft, smooth and pure over the block.
And Meg is a sneaky 6'1" defender out there, one of the tallest defenders in the tournament, and she uses her height so well.
Float serve, a little low pass there from Kloth. And Kloth reaching line, snap and angle.
Excellent swing from Taryn Kloth. Kraft getting caught just a little bit shallow on defense here.
Nice work from our camera crew to catch that replay. Taryn Kloth originally played outside hitter in college, so very comfortable on that left side. But like you said, Travis, only picked up the beach volleyball in 2019.
Just insane that she has been playing this game for 5 years.
And right on cue, Taryn Kloth with a monster block to give their team a 1-point advantage.
And a block like this requires extraordinary handwork because Taryn's late and she's getting this on the way up. If she takes her time to press, she doesn't get that block.
Trouble pass here from Cannon. Kraft just trying to keep this one in play. And T finds the hands of Taryn Kloth again.
This is a sneaky, difficult block to make. Now, the ball drifts outside the antenna. Therese can only go angle, and what a lot of players do, they sort of hood and shape their hands back out of bounds. Taryn shapes them back in bounds so T can't tool her.
Better pass here from Cannon. This is a tight ball, swatted at the net. Off the net is Kristen Nuss looking for the cut shot and just missing it low into the net.
And that shot was not a bad idea. She just overcuts it just a touch, but she gets Cannon backpedaling. And maybe Therese was giving it up because it's a low percentage shot, but the idea was sound, just the execution a hair off from Kristen.
Eight, 9 here as Megan Kraft goes back to serve. Short serve on Kloth. Inside, perfect shot. Not really a full approach that time from Taryn Kloth, but she didn't need it.
When you're 6'4", you don't need the full approach. You don't really need the full anything. Taryn Kloth, just such a smart shot, and a huge credit for her rapid improvement goes to the coaching staff at LSU, where she played for a couple years, Russell Brock, and then now, of course, to Drew Hamilton, who they will give credit to after every single tournament they win, which is an awful lot.
Here's Therese Cannon getting pushed to the right side. Excellent vision from Cannon. And Kloth looks back at Nuss, actually maybe wondering if she was in the right spot.
And that's one of those interesting ones as a blocker and defender. So Therese does not run a back set, but she crosses the center of the court. So the question is, do you keep your call on the player, or does it now switch to what was the right side? And Therese mixing it up well, getting that confusion.
Yeah, and every team does something a little bit different there. Sometimes they'll just audible, or they'll keep the call. It just depends on the team. Good pull from Cannon. And the line call is the shot taken from Therese Cannon after that brilliant pull dig.
That's one of the biggest areas of improvement among many from Therese Cannon are those little touches off the net where that's a swinging, backpedaling, opposite hand dig, and then she makes a smooth transition play.
Float serve again. That one goes long. A little wind at the back. And so we're into our technical timeout. 11-10. Not much between these two teams so far, Travis.
Not much at all. And this is what Kristen and Taryn do to teams, where they're so smart and they just wait until midway through the first set, maybe the 15-13, 14-14 switch, and then they start to pick up on the shots and the tendencies. Now, granted, as we mentioned a couple times, these teams are no strangers to each other. And so they know how Therese plays, they know how Meg plays, they know how Kristen and Taryn play. They've watched a lot of each other, they practice against each other. And so it's just a matter of what are your tendencies today? And so these first 21 points, it's kind of a figuring out period. You're collecting all the data and information, figuring out who's doing what on this particular day.
Data collection, the name of the game, and then it becomes a chess match. You move your piece, I move the counter. who can maintain that level and consistency throughout the game. Been pretty even to start things out here in set number 1, 11-10, as Kristen Nuss comes back to serve. Staying on Therese Cannon. Therese Cannon off the arms, and Kristen Nuss looking to go get a second contact. She can't do that.
And Therese, the patented sharp angles. I think one of the best sharp angles from the left side of anyone in the game right now. When she's able to get that pass in the center and run that outside set, it opens up so much real estate for her.
Taryn Kloth. Talk about angle swing. She's got one on that swing.
She doesn't need the sharp one. When it comes in that heavy, you don't need a crazy sharp angle. You can just blow it past the defender.
A little bit of boom there from Kloth. 12-11. Perfect pass from Cannon. The set out wide. One arm stabby. Can Kloth run it down? She does. And it's trouble for Kristen Nuss. Trying to just find a way to get that ball over the net. It doesn't.
And anyone not named Kristen Nuss, I would say there's no way to do it, but she's a little magician out there. She'll find a way to get something done, even if it's just spinning it around the net. Physically impossible, but when it comes to Kristen, nothing's really impossible. And a credit again to Therese Cannon, that sharp angle swing, that's home.
Nice pace on that serve from Cannon. Poking, Kraft is there. Good bump set, and again the high line goes down in transition for Megan Kraft.
And Megan Kraft is the perfect blend of the volume defender along with a very terminal defender in transition. At the first AVP event of the year in Huntington Beach, who led the tournament in digs? Megan Kraft. At 6'1", fantastic offensive player, also very terminal.
Oh, and down the middle it goes on the back line for an ace for Therese Cannon.
A 14-12 lead for Therese and Meg over Kristen Nuss and Taryn Kloth, and forcing Kristen and Taryn to take a timeout.
Not a normal sight to see an early timeout here from Taryn and Kristen. But what I like to see is Therese Cannon keeping her serve in and putting a little bit of pressure. There's a three-point run. What I'd like to see from Kloth and Nuss is Kloth kind of getting stuck in no man's land on some of these pulls. Either pull and get back there or stay at the net and let Kristen run it down.
And as far as their defense goes, I think they're the best defensive team in the world. And I think that right now, because Meg and Therese as a team are evolving so fast as they get more tournaments under their belt, they're able to add more wrinkles on offense. Teams are still trying to figure them out, including Kristen and Taryn. I think that that's a big reason why they've made it this far, and a big reason why they've beaten a handful of teams that a couple they'd never beaten before in their careers, and a couple they were 1-4, 1-5 against, as they're just leveling up, and now Kristen and Taryn are going to have to readjust.
14-12 out of the timeout. And just as I was complimenting Therese Cannon's serve, she puts one long.
How many times do you think we've seen just today alone teams miss the serve out of the timeout?
And that is a good reason why, if you think you need a timeout, you should just take it. Chances are you might get a missed serve. Cannon out of the middle. This ball's a little bit tight. Joust at the net. One by Taryn Kloth. And so out of the timeout, 2 points returned in favor of Kloth and Nuss.
And this is what Kristen and Taryn do. Remember, they were down 12-9 in that second set against Latvia earlier today. No problem. Best defensive team in the world. They can just always rely on their defense to pick them up when they need it. 14-14, controlled back in the favor of the USA in the blue.
Tough float serve. Moving, dipping, and diving is that one. And it's an ace for Kristen Nuss.
And of all the defensive strengths of Nuss and Kloth, serving is not really one of them. Anytime that they get an ace, that is just a bonus point. So that's a bonus point for Kristen with that ace.
Therese Cannon. Oh, and there's a missed serve from Nuss. 15 all on the board. Deep float serve there for Megan Kraft. So back-to-back missed serves for Kraft and Cannon. here, letting Nuss and Kloth off the hook on their side out.
Now, Taryn, every now and then, lets a jump serve go, and she has a mean one. And now we're going to get a chance to see it.
Deep with the heat, and it's into the net, and Meg Kraft not able to get that one up in a position for Therese Cannon to go. And like you said, she does have a mean one. That one a little snappy deep. Probably a little trouble here for Cannon and Kraft.
And that's going to be a timeout for Meg and Therese. A 14-12 lead has now been flipped into a 15-17 deficit. You know, it's funny, earlier in the year, wrote a big story on Kristen and Taryn, and one of the interviews I did was with Taryn's brother, or Kristen's brother, Pete. And he has this great Cajun accent. And he goes, Travis, if Taryn really lets the jump serve go and she just jump serves, you ain't seen nothing yet. First jump serve of the day, ace for Taryn Kloth, 2-point lead for Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss.
We ain't seen nothing yet from that jump serve, just the first one, maybe more to come. But such a luxury to have such a weapon like that in your back pocket. And like I said, we don't see it too often. And for Taryn and Kristen, they win so much, they don't need it. But if they can add that little bit of wrinkle, just give them that much more advantage over teams when they do play.
The thing about teams like Kristen and Taryn is that when you are the best in the world, and I think that right now, although the world rankings have Anna Patricia and Duda at the top, 3 straight finals for Kristen and Taryn, I think that they are the best team in the world at the moment. You have to keep adapting and evolving, or else teams are going to adapt and evolve to you, and they're going to catch you. If you don't add more weapons to your arsenal, they're going to catch you.
And that option nicely done from Therese Cannon, and Kristen Nuss was there, just kind of handcuffed a little bit. There's a replay. A little handcuff. They're not able to get that dig.
Nice snap from Therese, make it just a little bit too fast for Kristen to get both hands on.
Good middle serve. Nuss with a rare opportunity and fading away. That set not quite where she wanted it, I don't think.
Both teams making good use of their timeouts. A 2-point run for Kristen Taryn right after their timeout. 2-point run the same for Therese and Meg after theirs.
Taryn Kloth, an excellent bump setter. Just a little spin on that ball, pushing it deep. Another tough serve from Cannon. And that one lands in, just tickling the sideline is Kristen Nuss.
I loved watching Therese watch and track that ball, just sitting and hoping and hoping and hoping. Get a little bit wider, and just perfect.
Brilliant work. As we move into the business end here of set number 1, 18-17 for Kloth and Nuss. Pushing Cannon deep. Megan Kraft with a brilliant set up to the net, but it's a good dig from Nuss, and Kloth was knuckling it over, trying to find some hands or even the corner pocket, finds neither.
That was a good opportunity for Kristen and Taryn. Where Therese has struggled so far in this match is when she pulls her passes deep and she can't have that sharp angle. Every time she's gone deep, Kristen's made the dig just a little bit too tight.
Kloth serve. This pass tight to the net. A little bit of trouble. Nice full layout from Kraft. She put this one away. What a dig out of the net. Unbelievable play here. And the run, they're going over on one. Kraft is there. Oh, and Megan Kraft, Therese Cannon with the huge point, biggest rally of the match.
And the biggest celebration from Therese. She knows what a big point that is, keeping the lead at 19-18. Kristen, some sensational digs. The over on one, I think, getting a little bit greedy with it. Therese and Meg taking advantage and capitalizing, keeping the lead.
There's the fist pump from Cannon. 19-18, Cannon and Kraft take the lead. Oh my goodness, what a serve from Megan Kraft that cleared the net and just dropped completely off the map.
Wow. If Megan Kraft could hit this serve every time, that would be a heck of a skill. Watch the bottom fall out of that ball.
Double angle block is the call. The set point here for Cannon and Kraft. Megan Kraft sitting in the pocket with the dig. This ball's a little off the net, and Kraft not able to put that one in play.
What an opportunity it was for the set, but the order's simple enough. one side out, you take the set over Nuss and Kloth, and you're one set away from the golden cowbell.
Taryn Kloth about to toss it up, pushing Cannon to her sideline. And the line shot goes down, letting that ball just drift past her shoulder. Therese Cannon, Megan Kraft with a late run, Travis, to go up 21-19, take this first set in this gold medal match.
You know, Gino Ariema, the head coach of the UConn Huskies women's basketball team, one of the most dominant programs in history, said, when fate taps you on the shoulder, you better be ready. And there's something about this tournament. Fate has tapped Therese and Meg on the shoulder right now, and they have been ready. They have just survived and advanced throughout this tournament. They barely make it out of the qualifiers. They barely make it out of pool. They have the most difficult draw to get through the playoffs, and they succeed and succeed and succeed. And here they are. They are one set away, Kyle, from winning a gold medal in the Gstaad Elite 16.
Unbelievable. If you take a look at our statistics, Taryn Kloth with three big blocks here, 2 aces per team, some big, impressive serving late there from Megan Kraft, just tapping that ball and it just falling down. But like you said, Kraft and Cannon have been through the ringer in this tournament. A couple losses, couple wins, barely making out of a couple pools. Adversity has been the name of the game for this team, and they have overcome and overcome. Looking to continue that here in the finals. Start of set number 2. Kloth from the left. And a big left hand from Therese Cannon. Secures the monster block.
I'll tell you what, I've been watching Therese Cannon play beach volleyball for a long, long time. I haven't seen her get this fired up in a match, and that is just such a fantastic block, fantastic left hand.
Another tough serve. This is a tight ball, the baby cut. That is just brilliance from Kloth and Nuss. Nuss putting it up tight for her partner.
That's a brilliant piece of shot making from Taryn Kloth. Doesn't have the full range of offensive shots, and instead of hitting that cut shot up, she just sends it straight down.
1-all. Therese Cannon going overhead. And down the line she goes. A little bit of miscommunication again as Kloth looks back at Nuss, wondering where she was.
And again, that back set can cause miscommunications on defense. Therese running that back set and just taking what's given to her.
Kloth service pressure, staying on Kloth. This set a little inside. On the run is Kraft, but it's teardropped into the angle. It goes down.
I love the way Meg plays this angle block where she holds seam as the defender, sees the shot coming from Taryn, and abandons her call into the line and runs for that cut shot. The cut shot was just too good, but really nice defense from Kraft.
Bump set here from Kraft. Now the line. Nuss sticks out a paddle, but not able to corral it.
And Therese doing a nice job managing when the passes are off the net and just hitting the smart 75-80% snaps where the space is.
3-2, Cannon Kraft. Nuss sees a serve, first time in the second set. And Kristen Nuss pushing that one wide, a rare error from Kristen Nuss.
And earlier today, Kristen and Taryn, they didn't turn in their finest performance by any means in the semifinals. It was just that Tina Gradina and Anastasia Samoilova, they didn't fully capitalize on it. And that's been the difference, is that Meg and Therese have been capitalizing when they've gotten gifts.
Another treble pass here. The short poke, making something out of nothing, is Kristen Nuss.
And I think, yes, that's a side out for Kristen Taryn, but that's also sort of a moral victory for Therese and Meg. If that's what Kristen Taryn have to do just for a simple side out, you're doing something right. You're pushing the percentages in your favor, and that's all you can do, because is Kristen going to make that shot frequently? Yes, but is she going to give you a mistake every now and then in that situation? Also, yes.
Deep float serve on Cannon. Soft set. And the smart snap into the angle.
And Therese, you know, she's given a couple to Kristen and Taryn, but at some point, I think it is time to test Megan Kraft and serve receive, because Therese is playing fantastic.
That she is, and that over angle shot is harder than it looks. Here's Kristen Nuss with another opportunity. And chipping one over the line. That is beautiful. She'll ring the bell there for the side out.
That's more like it from Kristen Nuss. That's the in-system perfect clean side out we have seen from them for years and years and years.
The jump serve coming out again from Kloth. Creates a little bit of trouble. Possibly a double contact, I guess not. Chance here for Nuss in transition. Another tight ball, and I don't know if it touched the block. Taryn Kloth saying it did not. Up referee also saying it did not.
I love the awareness from Meg. She misses this one.
She does.
Still gets the set on it, and good awareness from Therese to play it out. She's just 21 years old, but that's a veteran play we might see from Anna Agatha.
Oh my goodness, that was some body control from Megan Kraft to even get that ball. Jump serve, this time a little bit more pop on that ball. Line. That ball landing in. You can see the ball mark. And Kristen Nuss would like to challenge, but upper referee saying she saw it in. And
Now, I see it in, and this is one thing that I get confused by, is when the players request a challenge and they still have the challenge, and Kristen and Taryn do, and it's just negated for whatever reason. I don't know.
baffling indeed. Either way, Taryn Kloth come back with a cut shot of her own and possibly lighting a little fire on the side of Nuss and Kloth, which is not a good sign.
It's such good emotional maturity from these two, where you think you have not only a bad call, but not only they're not even going to come down to look, and then they come back smooth and calm as you like, make the play.
You asked for a Megan Kraft side out, and you're going to get it. It's a brilliant dig from Kristen Nuss, and she rises to the occasion and snaps one to the corner.
And there are a handful of athletes out there who they will sort of conjure up any fuel to the fire. They'll invent a bad call, invent a slight. Michael Jordan was famous for it. I think Kristen is in that camp of, give me some fuel, give me a chip on the shoulder, and let me make a play after it.
7-6 now, Nuss and Kloth. What a serve. Handled well, though, from Kraft. Into the block, covered. Their chance here. Nobody up for Kraft. Nuss with a perfect read. This ball not in a great spot. Good pull dig from Cannon. And the standing roll shot, Taryn Kloth tapping her chest, knowing that she probably should have stayed on the ground.
This is perhaps the single best match I've seen from Therese Cannon. Twice now we've seen her make that left-handed spinning pull dig. And then what a smart decision here. Messing up the timing off the block, no jump. A regular training match we've seen in California.
We love the no jump in California, and that's coming into play here in the gold medal match. Who would have thunk it? We'll switch sides 7-all. A little bit of wind, maybe causing a little bit of trouble in some of the ball control. Oh, soft shot to the angle from Kloth.
Perfectly done. Certain shots, certain swings. As a defense, you just tip your cap. Nothing you're going to do on this shot from Taryn Kloth.
And you heard Kristen Nuss call out the angle. So important for your partners to communicate, help you with as much vision as you can. You're already worrying about so much, making contact with the ball. Got to trust your partner. Serve back to Therese Cannon. And this ball getting pushed a little bit wide. Kind of a weird contact there from Cannon.
The wind seemed to pick that up and take it just a bit. Now, the wind is not a huge factor. It's 5 miles an hour at the most. But that set, it was just a little bit shooty. Gets over Therese's left shoulder. Has a little trouble with it.
Option from Kraft. Guess who's there? Kristen Nuss. And Kristen Nuss, both Cannon and Kraft looking who's going to go. Nobody's home. Point for Kloth and Nuss.
And this is where I'd love to see Therese and Meg take a timeout and slow things down. They responded exceptionally well in that first set. They went down to, called a timeout, reversed it, stole that opening set. They're going to see it play out.
10-7, Kloth and Nuss. This is great form here. Another perfect dig from Nuss. She's in a little bit early, but it doesn't matter, Travis, as she scores again. And talk about being in the zone. That's exactly what we're seeing from Nuss and Kloth.
And Kristen she puts herself in the right position on defense so frequently that she makes it look so easy. And as any uneducated fans out there, they'd be wondering, well, why does Therese keep hitting it right to her? Well, that's Kristen's doing, that she puts her in the spots that the ball is going.
Absolutely. So balanced. She shuffles out, creates that great approach. And she has all the vision in the world, some of the best in the world. Even if you are a 6'3" Therese Cannon, there's a little snapper down the line for the kill. And honestly, since that bad call, Travis, with a non-challenge coming down, I feel as if there's been a little extra fire, a little extra motivation on the side of Kloth and Nuss.
Kristen, as sweet as she is, also one of the most competitive people you're going to come across. And you give her just a little bit of kindling for the fire, and soon enough, you're going to have an inferno.
A true competitor of our game. An absolute killer out there on the sand. 11-7 after the timeout from Cannon and Kraft. Here's Cannon looking for the cut shot. Nice speed there from Cannon.
Really nicely done from Therese. And again, when she passes forward, when she passes in that front 2 meters of the court and she has everything in front of her and she can run out by the pin and use that for her offense, that is where her base is, and she is so good from there.
Another tough serve cross court. Good hustle from Nuss, trying to soccer kick that one back in play, but it's not good enough. And so Megan Kraft dialing up some aces here.
That angle-to-angle float serve from Megan Kraft has been vicious, as the movement on it is wild.
Still a little bit of trouble here. And Therese Cannon there, perfect timing on that line block.
And in the first set, Megan and Therese take a timeout, score 2 straight. Second set, they take a timeout, score 3 straight. Excellent block from Therese Cannon going into the technical timeout, down just 10-11.
Another look at this block, the penetration from Therese Cannon. Strong right hand to earn that block. And what they do so well is serve the ball. When I talked to assistant coach Paul Lottman early in the day, and what's been working so well for them is the side out and the serving. And we're seeing that come here. Megan Kraft just tossing up some heaters from that corner.
And Paul Lottman, no slouch from the serving line himself, was called up into the Olympic Games to do just that. So if there's a man to teach you how to serve, Paul Lottman's a good choice.
Pretty good choice. A friend and former partner of mine. His transitioning to coaching has done pretty well so far, as he's adopted this team and helped out Coach Mike Playcheck. They will go to Paris with Andy and Miles, who are out of this tournament early, but they have one team still left in this tournament, a chance for the Golden Cowbell. They are one set up, so pressure's on Nuss and Kloth here to win this set. They're up just one. Out of the middle, and the so fast line. Even though the contact isn't so high from Kristen Nuss, she can still get the speed on it.
And how often do you think that a blocker will have the shot go over her head and say no, as Therese just did, thinking that no, it's out of bounds, only for it to hit the last millimeter of the line? Kristen just paints line after line after line.
On the line, good pass from Kraft. She chips to the line, and Kristen Nuss might have had a shot on that ball. I don't know if she let it go or not.
It looks like she takes her left hand away from it. I thought that it was in her range to get a touch on it, but again, that 6'1" defender of Megan Kraft, it just allows her to hit those shots so much faster.
Here's Therese Cannon going line to line. Taryn Kloth, cross-court ripper at the toes of Megan Kraft.
Big swing from Taryn Kloth, and she's got that game face on right now. A lot of times we'll see some giggles and some smiles from Taryn. Right now, she is all biz.
Jump serve from Kloth. A lot of heat on that one. Kraft is off the net. Opportunity here for Kloth and Nuss. Oh, Kristen Nuss smacks one into the back end of the line.
Putting a little stank on it is Kristen Nuss. Have I made the comparison to Christian Storm yet? She gets this nice spatch, deep swing to the line, indefensible.
14-11 here. Nuss and Kloth. Another tough serve. Megan Kraft out wide. Kristen Nuss gets a right hand on it, and that dive angle from Kloth just a little wide.
That's a tremendous swing from Megan Kraft. Finding that seam opened up by the late move into the angle from Taryn Kloth and the late move into the line from Kristen Nuss.
A little bit of sun back out here on Stadium Court. Short serve to Kloth. All day, every day, Taryn Kloth just chipping an angle.
And that late move into the line from Megan Kraft does not fool Taryn Kloth. Just another perfectly smart shot.
Short serve, trouble in that corner. That's an ace for Kristen Nuss.
And that was our big key in their semifinal, was the Therese Cannon passing consistency. Can she keep it in system? Can she keep that balloon off the floor, as we like to say? And that ace is probably the dagger that does it in this second set. 16-12, comfortable lead now for Kristen and Taryn.
Floats better pass this time from Cannon. This set's a little inside. On the run is Nuss. What a dig. Can she put it away? Oh, my. You better believe she can.
The element of this play that I'm most impressed about with Kristen is that she sees how far over Taryn is, and she hooks it across the net to make sure that it's right in Taryn's platform. Not only does she dig it, but she sort of slings it right into her partner's platform and hits that perfect cut shot.
Even though that set's a little off the net, Travis, it's unbelievable touch from Nuss. 17-12. Kraft and Cannon. Oh, Nuss there again. Good rundown from Kraft. Ripping into the block. It's covered. Nice recycle here from both these teams. Guess what? Nuss is there again. What does she have? Over the top. Maybe the longest rally of the game. What a dig from Kloth. Is she going to put this one away? She does. Long buster rally here in this second set.
Defense, defense, defense. We get a little bit of everything. We get this incredible cut shot dig from Kristen Nuss. We get a pull dig. We get a block. We get an excellent cover. What more do you want out here in Gstaad?
And laser focus is the theme on the side of Nuss and Kloth right now. They're out for blood. Cannon trying to sneak one down the line. I don't think she finds any hands. That ball is wide.
And I don't mind the swing from Therese. What I love about that play from them is the perfect pass and set. That's what they need in order to win this third set. The third set's coming. You just want to dial in your pass, dial in your set, get ready for the incoming third set.
And that serve short from Nuss, taking a little bit of a risk on the shorty. Doesn't really matter, as this set, like you said, almost all but over. And as you see, Megan Kraft assuming her familiar position up at the net. Nice serve from Cannon. And you saw a little fake jump block there from Kraft, and then the late pull, possibly throwing off the vision of Kristen Nuss.
A little bit of jazz hands at the net from Megan Kraft.
And Therese Cannon looking for the sharp angle serve, but that one goes wide. I mean, it is set point now for Kloth and Nuss, 20-14. Option from Cannon, nobody home. And we'll switch sides. Cannon and Kraft just delaying the inevitable here in this second set.
Smart swing from T, and as you mentioned, it's inevitable that we're going three, unless earning 5 points in a row on Kristen Taryn. That is a monumental task. So what you're trying to do is just get all of your touches dialed. You want that momentum. You want the match trending in the right direction heading into this third set.
Kristen Nuss for the set. And she rips one into the cross court, and that's going to do it. Kloth and Nuss dial up the defensive intensity there in that second set, and they win 21-15, which means we're going the distance.
We're going the distance. I wouldn't have it any other way. Give me more time out here in Gstaad. I'm not ready to go home yet.
We're not ready yet. These fans aren't ready yet. They want more volleyball. And we're going to 3. Here's a look at that final point from Kristen Nuss to Taryn Kloth.
A little extra pop on this here from Nuss.
Yeah, they just looked a little angry halfway through that set, Travis. The smiles faded and the intensity rose. And that is not a good sign for Cannon and Kraft.
Like I said, Therese, she plays Kristen and Taryn so well. They go to 3 all the time. They've had a handful of 2018 third setters. We already saw 28-26 3-setter earlier today in our men's bronze medal match. Wouldn't be surprised if we see something like that again, because you look at these numbers, that's a clean match. 7 errors for Kristen Taryn, 5 errors for Therese and Meg, 1 block to 4, 3 aces apiece. Virtually dead even.
Not too much between these two teams. That's what you've come to expect from a finals match, especially here in Gstaad. And it's 1-15 for that golden cowbell. And a tough float serve ace. Megan Kraft been doing it all tournament long. Ace.
This angle-to-angle float serve that she is hitting from the close side of your screen to the far side has just been wicked.
She hits it again, this time corralled well from Kloth. Taryn Kloth, a little over rotation, trying to find some hands. I don't think she does.
And on the setup, I thought that Therese baited a little bit too much line on that and left quite a bit. And Taryn takes the bait and sends it just a little bit too wide.
She's going to go back to the line. What a touch from Cannon to keep this one alive, but poking it into the block is Megan Kraft. Good discipline from Kloth.
It was a smart idea for Megan Kraft to try to recycle, but it's such a difficult cover to make for Therese, where she's diving off the court to make the set and then has to pop back up and make the cover. Excellent block from Taryn Kloth.
Therese Cannon going behind. I haven't seen that too much. Perfect dig from Nuss, another dig from Kraft. Oh, and it's an overset. Opportunity here for Taryn Kloth, and she puts that one into the net, and another late pull from Megan Kraft earns a point.
Just send Meg to the net every time and have her pull into the angle. It's worked out twice now. 2 errors when Meg has pulled into the angle, and that is a big opportunity missed for Kloth and Nuss to earn a point.
Yeah, Taryn Kloth wanted all of that one. 3-1 here, Cannon and Kraft. Nice middle serve. The cut shot, good patience from Kraft. Can she put this one away in transition off the block? She goes. Crafty play from Megan Kraft.
Such smart, disciplined defense from Megan Kraft. Sees the shot coming. So many defenders will want to run line. She stays put, makes the easy play on an imperfect cut shot. And then I just love this smart snap and transition. Catching Kloth, still going up, gets the tool kill.
So a 4-1 start here for Cannon and Kraft as we switch sides. And Therese Cannon puts that one long, letting Kloth off the hook.
The service pressure, it's what's gotten Taryn Kloth out of system so far in this third set. So that is an okay miss, but to miss by that much, just a little bit too amped right now is T.
Jump serve from Kloth. Speaking of amped up, that's a heavy ball. And can Nuss redirect? She cannot. So nice swing. Cannon bringing a little pace on that one.
We saw that a couple times in the first set from Meg and Therese, where they were both on the right read, and the block redirected it away from the defender who had made the right read. And that's exactly what just happened to Kristen. Reads the line, starts running line, and the redirect goes away from her.
Perfect pass from Kloth in system. Sitting in the pocket with the scoop, and the late poke over from Cannon. Unreal play.
What a scoop from Megan Kraft. Did Dane have her in the right position all this time at USC? It's hard to blame. She won 4 straight national championships. Who might have questioned Dane Blanton? But the scoop! What can't Megan Kraft do?
Here's another look at this perfect dig. She transitions out, and she doesn't need to, because guess what? Therese Cannon is going to poke this one down. Unexpected is Taryn Kloth. And a timeout here as Kloth and Nuss are down 6-2, Travis, in the third.
And how often do we see blockers go to make that play and just send that poke like 6 feet long? Because they expect the block. It's a chaotic play, and Therese so calm and poised. I think that this tournament is the best I've seen from Therese. This match is one of the single best matches I've seen Therese Cannon play.
Yeah, and I think there's something about this partnership that has, I don't know, relaxed Therese Cannon and just loosened her up a little bit to step into this role and play confident and safe and strong volleyball. And credit to Megan Kraft for coming in with a similar mindset that just gels well with Cannon. And Taryn Kloth can't believe it. She misses the high line there.
I'm also in disbelief. This is not what I think anybody could have expected. A 7-2 commanding lead for Therese Cannon and Megan Kraft over the hottest team in the world right now, and Kristen Nuss and Taryn Kloth pushing the lead even further.
Another good pass. Kloth going behind. I like the variety on the run. Megan Kraft there, but just too deep of a shot there from Kloth.
That's a fortunate break for Taryn Kloth and Kristen Nuss. That's the exact shot that Therese and Meg baited her into hitting. And Meg maybe taking a shallow angle coming in and getting pulled up by the deep shot, but if you're calling the right plays and you're getting those opportunities, that's going to get you the lead eventually.
Yeah, lots of good touches here from Cannon and Kraft. Hold on to a 4-point lead. Cannon goes behind. Oh, what an angle from Therese Cannon. She's got the angle from the left, and now we see the angle from the right.
Wow, 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 Therese Cannon. She has come to play. This is a big league swing. No defense for that.
8-3. The high line, Kraft all over it. What can Cannon do in return? Nice dig from Nuss. She uses the tape and gets the kill. Kraft and Cannon not happy about the hand dig.
So what they're arguing is that this was not hard-driven enough for Kristen to take as she did. I think that the play was totally fine. I think that's borderline, but on the borderline of favoring, let the play be played out in the finals of an Elite 16. And a huge credit to Taryn for that sort of elbow set that ended up being perfect.
Yep, you got to keep playing. And a missed contact there from Megan Kraft, just leaving her finger in the ball, I think, as that one sails long.
And if you're Megan Therese, this is where you need to stop this run. You need to nip it in the bud. Do not let this compound. It's plays like that from Kristen and Taryn that can switch the momentum in a hurry. This is a critical side out incoming.
Good pass. Cannon wants it out of the middle. She snaps it to the angle. Guess who's there? Nuss. Oh, and Kristen Nuss with the cut shot kill. And it's a run of points now for Nuss and Kloth, Travis.
And this is the second straight set. I think that the timeout comes a point too late. I think that when you have an 8-3 lead, you want to protect it. You cannot let the momentum get out of your control. Kristen and Taryn have now fully seized it on what was kind of a weird play. I think you just take it, you reset, you regather. You've been excellent out of both timeouts in both sets. Take it just 1 point earlier.
1 point earlier would have been helpful because 8-6 looks a lot different than 8-5. And like you said, 8-3 lead just evaporated in the blink of an eye. And that's what this team of Kloth and Nuss can do to you.
And this is where it gets fun to watch. These are the situations where you really get to see what an individual is made of, what a team is made of. And you mentioned the off-court chemistry of Meg and Therese. And I think when you have that off-court chemistry, that translates into these tight moments on the court. That's one of the biggest reasons I think that Meg and T have been as good as they have been. And I think that that's going to help them stay poised in what is becoming a quickly uncomfortable lead.
feel the tension in the air on this little comeback here from Kloth and Nuss. This would be a big side out for Cannon. It's a big dig from Nuss. Out of the middle, Cannon. Another scoop from Nuss. And the softest of soft cut shots goes down, and it's multiple dig after multiple dig right now for Kristen Nuss.
And this is the benefit of having that big lead. It was 8-3 at one point, and at the moment, just the energy of the match, it feels as if it's 10-5 in Kristen and Taryn's favor, but they're still down. And so Therese and Meg, they still have control of this match, but this is where you need to stop the run and go on one of your runs. We've seen one run for each team now. They need to put it to an end right here.
Taryn Kloth looking to dial up the jump serve. Cannon going behind. And a missed contact off the hand of Therese Cannon, and that ball goes into the antenna.
And Kristen and Taryn, this is just what they do to teams. 8-3 lead, no problem. Doesn't matter. Best defensive team in the world. We'll keep the pressure on and keep the pressure on, and eventually the mistakes are going to come. The digs are going to come. The blocks are going to come. Now we're all square at 8-8.
Another heavy serve. Good hustle from Kraft. Can Cannon keep that alive? It goes outside the antenna. Excellent effort, though, from Kraft and Cannon, but it goes down pretty much as an ace, Travis.
A 6-0 run for Kristen and Taryn. Nearly half the points required in the third set coming all in a row. But this is showing similar shades of that first set where Therese and Meg, they were in control, went down 17-15, then they flipped it again.
That serve handled well from Kraft. And Megan Kraft with a much, much needed side out.
I think that's a tough mistake from Taryn. They just got 5 straight points off Therese. Taryn overhooks that jump serve into Meg, and credit to Meg for being ready in a big moment.
Kloth looking for the cut shot. Kraft all over it. And the heater deep is not able to come back from Nuss.
And the lead flips back to Megan Kraft and Therese Cannon. Kraft, just 21 years young, the youngest player on the court, the least experienced on the player on the court, coming up the biggest.
And back at the service line where she's done so much damage. A good pass, though, from Kloth. And Kloth there with authority towards the sideline. Kraft not able to touch that one.
And I don't think it's a problem not to touch that one. I think if Meg was in a position to touch it, she's leaving too much court otherwise. I think those are the shots that you have to make them hit to score. And if Taryn does it 21 times, that's fine. But at the moment, she hasn't been. She's been giving mistakes by trying to get too sharp. You just need to wait for those mistakes to happen.
Float serve on Cannon. Cross court, and it's a block from Taryn Kloth. We haven't seen a block in a minute from her, but she comes up big late.
Big reach with that left hand from Taryn Kloth. And what was the right swing from Therese? Clutch block from Taryn.
Oh, and that's a face of anger and focus right now from Kloth. This ball's a little bit tight. Cannon gets the second touch. Megan Kraft from the right. What a stab from Nuss. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Kristen Nuss, take a bow after that play.
She is just nusty. Just what a dig, and then what a shot in transition. Right read from Therese on this, but Kristen just outplays it.
Therese Cannon, we've seen a couple left-handed digs from her. She goes with the right there, not able to get it back up. 12-10 for Nuss and Kloth. Oh, and Therese Cannon trying to go fast line. Guess who's there? Taryn Kloth for another monster block.
Make it a 10-2 run for Kristen and Taryn to take a 3-point lead on the backs of Taryn Kloth blocking.
Cannon trying to survive out here. She finds the line swing in a huge side out for Cannon and Kraft.
Gets her clean side out. Now this is a critical serve. This is where Therese and Meg have scored the majority of their points. The side they're on now is serving this angle to angle at Taryn. Now is the time for an ace if there ever was one.
Good serve. Kloth trying to go line. It's Doug. Nice left-handed dig again from Cannon. What can she do in return? She goes to the low line, and Kloth is there. It's like deja vu, Travis.
And what a chance it was for Therese. Again, another tremendous left-handed dig. She tries the quick line, and Taryn is there sealing it. And now that's going to bring us to gold medal point, cowbell point for Kristen and Taryn.
Taryn Kloth walking back to the service line, getting ready to toss up the jumper. In the lap of Megan Kraft.
No.
And a double contact, a lift going to be called on the final point of the game. And that is going to do it